What's up, everyone? Look at the green we're getting today. What a green one. Holy moly. SPY and NASDAQ simply cannot be shorted today. Here on the hourly, we have 7 green hourly candles on the S&P in a row. Wow, haven't seen that in a minute. Just crazy. Short squeeze type of shit going on. Today, very green, everything green, Bitcoin green, shit just getting squeezed left and right. I mean, Mara is up 32% right now. What the fuck? It's still going up. Holy crap, that's absolutely insane. What? What? Holy shit, dude. It's up 150% off its lows. We're just seeing simply a, immaculate short squeeze on Mara. Look at this volume. 54 million shares. This is the highest volume I think ever, at least in a minute on Mara. Not ever, maybe on the daily in about a year or so, but just crazy. I wonder if Riot's squeezing too. Oh yeah, Riot's squeezing just a little bit, but Mara's moving much better. Much better movement on Mara as usual. Yeah, big ass green day today. Just getting a nice little relief rally. So here on Nasdaq, this ugly chart I have that is just a bit of a mess right now. You can see right here we're still in like this bear flag, so everything's still within range. I'm not jumping up and down. Just another relief rally like we're used to at this point. So we're going to see if we can break out above this dynamic trend line, if we can break out of this bear flag. So we still are just in a consolidation, basically, but with a pretty wide range. So everything's within range. I wasn't seeing any crazy setups. I really just got back from a big old trip last night, and I did not spend any time. I had zero energy whatsoever to try to do any kind of crazy research to see any kind of nice setups. So I kind of woke up this morning and missed half the movement, and just felt like I had no good reason. I was like trying to look at charts, but I just like could not see a good reason to FOMO in the calls. So I did do one put on SPY because it looked like we were going to get a rejection, and that immediately didn't work. I lost $35 on that, so I just said, I'm not touching this. I believe I grabbed the put right there on this rejection of this fib level at 390. I grabbed the put, it immediately just failed. I said stop loss above that level and stopped. And yeah, after that, I do regret missing this. This was a really nice golden goose right here. We got the 21 EMA, that fib level retest, and bounce off of that. But all in all, it just felt like a big old bull trap of a day, and I was just like just feeling the FOMO. I felt like that would have been my only reasoning going in. And most of the time that doesn't work out when you just completely FOMO into setups like that. So I didn't touch it. I don't really care. We're still within range on the NASDAQ, so we're right up against resistance. I'm not going to go long here unless we break out. And if we do break out, I imagine we might just go straight and fill this gap. I think this is really suspicious going in the earnings, that the market is ripping in the earnings. That's usually not great. I'd rather see dumping in the earnings and then imagine a relief bounce after earnings are better than people are expecting. But I think right now maybe the market is expecting really good earnings, so it's just going to bounce straight into it and throughout it. But I'm still suspicious. Nothing's really changed in the macro setup. So that's the stock market for you. The short-term movements just make 0 sense at some times. So I like to just zoom out on the chart, and you can see the Nasdaq is just making a big bear flag on the weekly chart. We're just in this little range, this little consolidating ascending wedge, um, and that's why I'm not really feeling this bounce. And it's not like we're just completely ripping. This isn't like a March rally where we like broke a level and just kept ripping after that. The Nasdaq's really just where it's been at, where it was at about this time a month ago. So it's not like we've really gone up and it's dipped and dipped. So we're back in this big old supply zone on the Nasdaq. On SPY, there's a even clearer picture of where we're at. You can see this big ass. Let me draw this out. You can see this big ass supply zone that we've uh, entered. We bounced to the top of it over here, dumped out of it. Over here, we come into it, dump, dump out. Over here, we just barely come on into it, dump out of it. So right now we're in the middle of it, and we're just still haven't. Oh man, we just closed right at that level. So we have a peak over here at 393 on SPY. We didn't quite get to today. So I'm not really loading up on more puts. I'm not grabbing calls. I'm kind of just gonna wait and see what happens next. I'm just gonna be patient. I don't really think we're gonna get a crazy rally, but it doesn't really matter what I think. So I'm gonna just go into calls if we can break out. Otherwise, we're still just in a big old downtrend. I mean, you see price action like this, you get big FOMO. You zoom out on the weekly, and I don't really see any reason to get FOMO on this weekly chart. Oh my god, my chart is such a mess. Let me go to SPX. Like I don't see a reason to FOMO. Like you zoom out on the weekly, and it's like, oh yeah, we've gotten our typical. So we always get a new low. Get a new low at 4,000. We bounce up to 4,600. We get a new low down here at 3,800. We bounce up to 4,200. We get a new low down here at 3,600. We bounce up to probably 4,000. So you can see we get the new lows, a 10% bounce, back down to new lows. That is what a downtrend is by definition. So until that changes, until the trend is very clearly changed, then I will just stick with it. And right now we have Amazon going a little crazy after hours. What's happening there? Oh yeah, Netflix earnings. All right, Netflix. Forgot about Netflix. No, I didn't forget. I remember Netflix earnings. So Netflix had a really big green day. Holy shit, look at Netflix going after hours. Big green on Netflix after hours. Whoa, whoa, wee, whoa. Damn, look at that big green dingus. Holy shit, Netflix is green. See, this is kind of what I said. I told people, I was saying, I don't think earnings are going to be as bad as people think. I think they're going to be just good enough to give the market a rally until we get into the FOMC meeting. But Netflix up 8% after hours. I wasn't gonna touch Netflix. I'm done doing earnings plays on shit, especially shit like Netflix. Like I'll do earnings plays on AMD or maybe Nvidia. I'm still holding Nvidia because I'm really confident in those companies, but I'm not confident in Netflix. And the fact that it had a really green day going into it was also making me suspicious. But looks like Amazon's up a little bit on that. Nasdaq's hardly moved off of that, but that is a little bullish. Meta's up 1% off of that. I'm sure Roku's going a little stupid off of that too. Oh yeah, it had a nice little bounce, and it's already sold off of it. So that's interesting. Good for Netflix. Good work, Netflix. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is actually doing some pretty crazy shit. It's kind of it. Oh, it's almost trying to. It's still in this bear flag like it did this last time, where we had this big old flag. We got these big green days that looked like we were about to break out, but this time the highs are getting a little higher and the lows are getting a little higher too. So sort of in an uptrend, I wouldn't say so. You have to really zoom out and actually get a higher high, which would be above 32,000 on Bitcoin, or actually break out of this dynamic resistance trend line. Um, Otherwise, I'm not really gonna look at Bitcoin's chart and take it. I always take it with a grain of salt because I know the Nasdaq leads Bitcoin, so Bitcoin's not gonna rally unless the rest of tech does. But damn, just a big old relief rally all around, just crazy. And I'm really hoping we go higher. I think SPY can get up to 420. I'd love to see SPY at 420, dude. That would be like the best setup. Oh god, that'd be so beautiful. Just give me 420, and I'm so ready to load up on some December puts. That would be absolutely beautiful. So let's see. Let's draw some kind of scenario where that might happen. So SPY does have a gap to the upside. So we're still right here in the supply zone. We break out of that. I imagine we go up here and fill the gap up to 400. If we do that right over here, we would be breaking this this dynamic trend line, this resistance that we've had from all the way back in March. We could break out of that, and then shit, we could come up here at 405, all the way up here to 420. That would be exactly like what happened in March, where we got this insane rally. And look at this rally. It rallied all the way up here. We broke these highs up here. I remember saying, all right, SPY above 457 is mega bullish. And what was it? Just a monstrous bull trap. It was one of those rallies where the entire time I was saying we shouldn't be rallying, shouldn't be rallying. This is the exact same scenario. I think it's probably just because people were like, "Hey, inflation's peaked," but I don't know. I can do this in my mind all day. I can think of reasons. This is why it's going up. This is why it's going down. When really in the short term, it can go up and down for no reason whatsoever, and it's just a highly volatile market. So that scenario, we fill the gap, we break out, we come up here, test 405. If we break that, we go back into this big old supply zone that we had over here where we were consolidated. And we could just chop around in there for a little bit, break out to the upside. And then we'll get another higher high just like we did down here. We got a higher high over here back at 462. We could do the same thing and be like, hey, higher high. Uh-oh. Trap some bulls in there. But all in all, we're still in the downtrend, so I don't want to fight the trend too hard. I would like to make some green on days like today, so I do still regret not getting like just crazy calls, but yeah, I don't know. Especially after yesterday. Yesterday was so weird because it was like so green, and then I get on a flight, I get off the flight, and we'd gone from 1% green to like 0.75% red because Apple was slowing hiring. So I was like a little suspicious today, but yeah, that was also pretty good volume on the day too on SPY. I don't know about Nasdaq. Then on day really low volume on Nasdaq. On days like today, I also like to look at the big market movers and look at Apple. So you see Apple, we're still right at this resistance line, right at 151.75. We got to break above that if we want to still go higher. Otherwise, there's no chance for relief rally if Facebook isn't or Apple isn't cooperative. Then you look at Facebook, and we're right at the top of this channel. We're right at resistance on Facebook. You look at Tesla. Tesla, same thing. We're still in this big old bear flag. We're still within range. So we could come up here and tap resistance, dump out of there. That's a big ass bear flag that we're forming on Tesla. That's been forming since way back here in like May. You look at Amazon. Amazon has an actually sort of decent setup. I need to clean this fucking thing up. What is happening here? Get out of here. But Amazon is still, I mean, still sort of what the fuck? Oh, still sort of kind of making a bear flag. We did have a sort of nice breakout, but still sort of making a bear flag on Amazon. We're just chopping within this range. We did get a higher high off of this. We broke above that level, so that is still bullish. Microsoft, I'm not really seeing much of a setup on Microsoft. We're still in this consolidation pattern, so everything is still within a consolidation pattern. I still wouldn't say we've had a breakout. It depends on who you ask. I mean, some people consider this a breakout on the Nasdaq, and I would agree. It just is a matter of, do we actually break out of this, or do we just come up and fill the gap and trap a bunch of bulls and dump out of it? Because at this point, if the market was willing to dump off a really bad Apple headline of, oh, we're slowing hiring, which wasn't even that bad. I mean, they weren't halting hiring, they were just slowing it. But it is kind of bad because Apple was like the top dog, they're the best of the best, and when they see trouble ahead in the economy, then that's usually not a great sign because they got the smartest people in the world working for them. But otherwise, let's look at like Nvidia. Nvidia had a really nice green day today, but it's also still in a bearish kind of flag right here, just chopping around in there. You look at the semiconductor index, and it's still within this channel. We're still bouncing around. We could come up here, fill the gap on that, tap on that, dump off of there. So I still, and TSM, look at TSM, we're right at the top of this channel right now, right here at the top of this channel. So I like TSM to the downside. I'm watching this. I'm watching a nice break out of that. I like that to the downside a lot. So I think it's not so much. I think the market's already pricing in that earnings are going to be fine. I think they're not going to be as bad as people think, so it's going to price that in. But what they're really going to look at is the guidance for next quarters or next quarter, and that's going to be what is really going to factor into where the markets go next. Netflix up 6% though after hours, not bad. Let's see. if I can actually find the numbers on it. All right, so they beat on earnings per share. They got it down lower. They only lost about 1 million subscribers. That's insane. Um, dun, dun, dun. So, looks like they missed on revenue. So, very interesting reaction from the market. It looks like the market must have just really been pricing in terrible earnings, and now they're not going to be as bad as we thought. Uh, so they estimated they would lose 2 million subscribers. So they only lost half of the subscribers they were estimating they were going to miss. So that is probably a big thing. Yeah, that's a big old thing. They missed on revenue, but they beat on EPS. So pretty interesting. Very low growth, only 10% growth. Ooh, super interesting. Less than 10% growth. Um, otherwise, it's looking like we're just getting this crazy relief rally. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's crazy. It's big ass green days all around. It's just nuts. You love to see it. I'm still holding some puts. I'm getting roast on Amazon. I got really far out Apple put for November, so I'm not gonna sell that. My Nasdaq puts are really getting hammered. We're down like 600 on that. Mike might just eat the L on a bit of those, but they're so far out. I feel like at this point I might as well just hold. They could still recover if the Nasdaq completely dumps. But yeah, just crazy green all around, and I don't know where to go next. You know, where are we headed next? I want to see a breakout on the Nasdaq before I get mega bullish. But otherwise, keep your heads up. See what happens next. Don't get too fooled. I've seen this. I know what happens next. I mean, it's just I don't know how to be mega bullish in this macro environment that we're in. I don't get it. When inflation is still rising, when guidance is still going down on all these companies, I just don't get where I could find bullish sentiment anywhere right now. And I just know that they want bulls to get trapped. Again, they have to bring the market up before they can bring it back down. Uh, and that's just how it goes. So until we break out of that wedge on the Nasdaq, I'm just gonna wait and see. It could be tomorrow. We could just go straight to fill in the gap tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see what happens next, folks. Peace out.